Hi students, good morning once again. So, since you guys have now given me officially permission to teach English, so I thought let's delve into this particular world of English now. Anyway, now I have already taught English before, but because the load of science and physics and chemistry and maths was too humongous, so never thought of teaching ever English. But anyway, this lockdown has given me an opportunity to make sure that I teach English anyway. So what are we going to do today? We are going to read or study or complete two poems, or in your words it is poems, okay, but the right pronunciation is poems, not poems. But anyway, so I'm going to use both of the words simultaneously so you can understand which one's which. So the two poems which we are going to discuss today, the first one is The Dust of Snow and the second is Fire and Ice. And coincidentally or fortunately, why I'm saying the word fortunate, I'll just explain you now. Fortunately, both of them are written by the same poet, and that is Robert Frost. Now Robert Frost, personally, he is one of my favorites. Why? Because one of his poems actually changed my life, and I'm sure that once you will be a bit more matured, and if you're going to read that poem pretty deeply, believe me, you also would say the same. And shockingly, you would have also already gone through that poem, and the name of the poem was The Road Not Taken. Okay, so I think that is in class 9th, The Road Not Taken or The Road Less Taken. I think The Road Not Taken. Okay. Anyway, Robert Frost is technically an American poet, and he was born in 1874 and he died in 1963. And the highest award in poetry or in literature, and that's known as Pulitzer Prize, and he has won this around 4 times, and that's the reason why I loved it, because to maintain a particular tempo or rhythm should be learned from Robert Frost. So Robert Frost is an American poet, and this is the date of the birth and the date of the demise. Now let's start with the poem, that is Dust of Snow first, and then we are going to move forward onto Fire and Ice. So what we are going to do is, of course, I'm going to read out the poem for you, and then I am going to make you understand the summary of this poem. Also, I'm going to use the literary rules which are used all across this poem, and then we are going to move forward in the same fashion. Now, let's talk about The Dust of Snow. Now, the heading of this poem, or the title of this poem, is Dust of Snow. Now, remember that over here, of course, dust means as in dust, the very fine particles, as in the science language, and snow, it's what? It's the crystalline form of water, that is the solid form of water, that is ice, but technically it's not crystalline form, it's actually amorphous form of. But anyway, let's not go into the word science first. So let's read the poem. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Now, what is the summary of this poem? Robert Frost, with these particular lines, is trying to actually break all those myths which are, now being converted or now being taken as a superstition, which people actually do take as superstition. Say for example, if you are trying to leave a particular place and somebody sneezed, oh, ab to din kharab hi jayega. Now this is a kind of superstition that this will bring you bad luck or bad omen and all that. So Robert Frost is trying to show with these particular lines, because crow over here and this hemlock tree. Now hemlock tree is a tree which is grown in the colder parts, okay, of any particular country, and normally it's a very poisonous tree. Okay, so this is a poisonous tree, that means it is not good for normal humans. And crow is actually being considered, if you read Hindu mythology or any particular mythology for that sake, I know for Hindus, that crow is considered as a messenger of death. As in, if crow is going to come and do that cow too much, then of course one way how people decipher this is that there's going to be a guest, in your house, and another way is that if crow, comes too close to you, that means it's the bringer, or it symbolizes death. So that's what this poem starts with. So the poet or the author or whosoever that particular person is, is just going beneath this particular tree. So he says, and there is this crow which is sitting on the tree. Okay, और ये जो ट्री है ये पूरा का पूरा स्नो से फुल्ली कवर्ड है, और नीचे से ये जो पोएट है ये वहां से जा रहा है. एंड द वे अ क्रो शुक डाउन ऑन मी. सो बिकॉज ये क्रो वहां पर बैठा होगा या वो वहां से हिला होगा, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ हिम, क्योंकि ये पूरे के पूरे पेड़ के ऊपर में बर्फ जमी हुई थी इन दैट स्मॉल फाइन पार्टिकल फॉर्म, द डस्ट ऑफ स्नो फ्रॉम अ हेमलॉक ट्री. जब ये वहां से हिला होगा, सो दैट पर्टिकुलर डस्ट वो वहां से नीचे की तरफ में गिरी होगी, या नीचे ऑफ कोर्स ये जा रहा होगा. एंड हु डज नॉट लाइक दिस काइंड ऑफ डस्ट. इमेजिन हम लोग हमेशा वैसे भी जब भी कभी ये मूवीज देखते हैं जो बड़ी रोमांटिक सी होती हैं या बड़े अच्छे जैसे सीन्स होते हैं, देन हम लोग देखते हैं कि, या जनरली आपकी बर्थडे होती है तो उसमें भी आप लोग देखते हो कि बर्थडे में ऊपर से कई चीज़ें जैसे फ्लावर्स गिर रहे हैं, या वो जो ग्लिट वाला जो आपके पेपर्स होते हैं वो गिर रहे हैं, यू फील वेरी गुड अबाउट इट, राइट. इन अ सेम फैशन यदि ऊपर से स्नो केवल अकेले आपके ऊपर में गिरे, वेरी वेरी फाइन पार्टिकल्स, यू फील प्रीटी गुड अबाउट इट. इट्स काइंड ऑफ अ मूड चेंजर. Now let's see what happens in the second stanza. It is given my heart, or has given my heart, a change of mood, and saved some part of a day I wrote. So this poet was actually trying to walk beneath this hemlock tree, which is considered as poisonous or as ominous. That means that ये जो poet का जो day है वो कोई बहुत अच्छा नहीं जा रहा था. But when जब ये नीचे से उसके निकला, तो ये जो क्रो था, which is also being considered as a symbol of a bad luck or bringer of a bad luck, that's what is being shown in poem. I mean, we or you must not believe into this. So जब ये उसके नीचे से गया तो उस पर ये क्रो ने कुछ हल्का सा स्नो गिरा दिया, ओके, कुछ पार्टिकल्स गिरा दिए. एंड इमीडिएटली जैसे ये स्नो गिरा, सो दिस पर्टिकुलर पोएट का इमीडिएटली जो हार्ट था वो चेंज हो गया, एंड ही फेल्ट नाइस, ही फेल्ट गुड, ही फेल्ट हैप्पी, ही फेल्ट जॉयस. It has given my heart a change of mood. So that means अभी तक जो सुबह से उसका जो दिन जा रहा था वो बहुत अच्छा नहीं जा रहा था. He was very depressed, very sad. He was carrying that sorrow kind of feeling. He was very sad. And now because इस ominous crow ने, जो कि एक ominous tree पे बैठा हुआ था, उसने जब ये पूरा का पूरा या थोड़ा सा ये जो fine particles गिराए snow के, and this led the heart of this particular person, and maybe this is poet, and uska heart change ho gaya. And he said, and saved some part of a day I had rued. और अभी तक rued means what? Rued means अभी तक आपने वो regret के अंदर, पछतावे के अंदर आपने वो दिन निकाल दिया है, and अभी तक जो दिन उसे थोड़ा बहुत जो खराब कर दिया था, जो बचा हुआ दिन था उसका, वो उसने बहुत अच्छा कर दिया. So remember, अभी तक यदि आप देखोगे, and after that I'll come on to the literary tools. So this is the summary of this particular poem, that every time when you think that something is, something bad is going to happen, please understand that this is only what you are thinking. ये केवल आपको लग रहा है कि दिन बहुत खराब जाएगा. Maybe दिन में कुछ अच्छा ही हो जाए. Maybe somebody actually comes up to you and says something nice. Maybe when you are thinking that this is the end of the world, maybe actually somebody is over there to help you out. So what you need to do is look actually at each and everything with a positive outlook rather than being sad and sorrow and depressed. Sad and sorrow and depressed रहोगे तो हर चीज़ आपको ऐसे black, dark, gloomy दिखाई देगी. But when you see everything with that nice optimistic outlook, you will feel good about it. So that's what they said, that even after looking at a bad thing, it might actually make your day. तो जो बुरी चीज़ है वो भी कभी कभी अच्छा कर दे. जैसे अभी के आप टाइम्स देख रहे होगे, इवन फॉर अस, इवन फॉर यू. जब आप स्कूल्स में जाते हो तो थोड़ी सी मस्ती होती है, बातें होती हैं, आप इधर से उधर कुछ कर रहे होते हो, यू आर डूइंग समथिंग, यू आर मीटिंग न्यू पीपल, यू आर प्लेइंग गेम्स. ऑफ कोर्स आई एम श्योर दैट घर पे आपको उतना अच्छा तो नहीं लगता होगा जितना आप जब स्कूल में, मार्केट्स में या जनरली जाते हो. But right now, because of this COVID-19 so-called, Draculian virus, इसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है? People are now so scared that अब वो अपनी लाइफ भी प्रॉपर ढंग से नहीं जी पा रहे हैं. ऊपर से these particular good channels keep on bombarding that kind of information, and that too in such a format कि आज इतने deaths हो गए, आज इतने लोग मर गए. So that's kind of a bad news altogether. But still इसके बीच में भी यदि आप जब भी जैसे मैं बोलता हूँ at the end of the video that guys keep smiling, chill out and love your mother, hug your mother and all this and all that. Guys, this is only to make somebody else's day, so that कि दूसरे आदमी का या दूसरी sister का या दूसरे brother का at least कम से कम दिन तो बना पाओ. So this was the summary of Dust of Snow. Now let us talk about the literary tools or the literary tools which are being used. Now what are those tools? Say for example कई पोएम्स में पर्सोनिफिकेशन होता है, कईयों के अंदर कॉन्सोनेंट्स यूज होता है, कईयों के अंदर एंजाममेंट यूज होते हैं, कईयों के अंदर एलिट्रेशन यूज होता है. सो आई विल टेल यू वन बाय वन व्हाट दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग मींस. So let's talk about the first literary tool which is being used in this poem, and that is alliteration. So what is alliteration? Alliteration is whenever you have got certain word which starts with the same alphabet or the same letter. And I have already underlined this. Can you see this? And this should be separated with very small space or close space, or maybe just adjacent to one another. So has and heart both starts with H, and that's the reason why it is alliteration. Also saved and sung, alliteration. Okay, now this is the first literary tool being used, that is alliteration. Now guys, ये words एग्जाम के अंदर जब भी आप कभी आंसर्स लिखते हो, ये words बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं, because this will make your image in front of whosoever is the evaluator, whether it's your school teacher, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, whosoever it is. When you write these kind of words, then people see, oh, that means this guy or girl must have got knowledge of actually the English literature. So these kind of words look nice, good, heavy, and they also show that the kind of knowledge you possess. So this is alliteration. Also, guys, there is this particular word, enjambment. Now what is enjambment? This shows the continuation of a thought. For whom? For the poet. And for whom? Again, for the readers. So enjambment means that there is no pause, there is no comma, there is no apostrophe, there is no semicolon, there is no colon, there is no punctuation mark, right? If you're gonna see, the last punctuation mark ends up with a full stop. That means that this is continuation of a thought. So when a poem or a story or a stanza or a paragraph is being written in such a way that there is no breaking of the thought, and then such kind of things when written in this form is known as enjambment. Then comes the next word, the word consonants. Now you already know, guys, what do you mean by the word consonants? Consonants means, of course, those 21 letters which would be what? Except the word vowels, that is A, E, I, O, U, not the words, I mean the letters. So A, E, I, O, U is known as vowels, and of course consonants are the remaining 21 out of the 26 alphabets in the English literature. Consonant sounds, जब भी कभी आप एक कोई line को आप पढ़ोगे, तो it is going to make the same kind of sound. So say for example, of a day I had rude. Of a day, I had rude, So it's kind of what? Consonants. So this is the kind of, the literary tools which is being used in this particular poem. Let's now move ahead and let's move to the next poem. So hopefully you must have understood the summary of this poem, as in why they are using this word crow. Why are they using this word hemlock tree? Because hemlock and crow both signifies or symbolizes what? Ominous things. Okay, something which is very negative in nature, something which is not considered good, something which is not considered positive, and so on and so forth. Now let's move on to the next word, and which I personally, love again. Beautiful poem, and that is Fire and Ice. Now, what is this poem Fire and Ice, all about? So before actually proceeding, once again, let's, give this particular guy a kind of standing ovation. I am already, standing, so I don't need to give a standing ovation. Robert Frost, once again the same poet, so you already know now about it. That is, Robert Frost was an American poet, and he was also an educator or an educator. He, the birth year was 1874, and the year of demise or the death was 1963. And he was very famous poet and who has won the highest prize in English literature, and that is Pulitzer Prize, and that too 4 times. Now, fire in this poem, before starting, fire in this poem would show you what? That is passion, desire, okay, and ice over here shows hatred. Now let's understand first of all, the gist of this particular poem or the summary of this poem. But before than that, let's understand that why are we discussing all this. Fire. आपने ये word बहुत commonly सुना होगा, as in you don't have that kind of fire within. Now I have personally met n number of the toppers and the average and the droppers. But trust me, sometimes even the toppers just don't have the fire. They are just doing it for the heck of doing it. Now, I don't mean all the toppers, or I'm not talking about you or somebody else. I'm talking about in general. They just want to do because somebody has pressurized it or pressurized them. But I'm talking about passion. Now, that is that particular kind of feeling which actually drives you to do something without even being provoked. इसके वजह से आपको नींद नहीं आएगी. इसके वजह से बस आपको लगेगा ये तो मुझे चाहिए ही चाहिए. मतलब without this I just can't work. I just want this. So this particular feeling will not let you sleep, even in the night. That is passion. So desire, you already know, जब भी आपकी कोई इच्छा होती है, and that is desire. Then comes the word ice, which is actually being personified as what? As hatred. Okay, or hatred is personified as ice. So what is hatred over here? Now these are two kind of feelings which has actually got the potential to end the world. Not according to me, but according to our dear late Robert Frost. Ice means hatred. So fire and ice are actually two opposites of each other, but technically both have got the potential to completely destroy the world. N number of scientists have till now said that the world is going to be consumed by fire. That means world पूरा का पूरा fire से end हो जाएगा. आग लग जाएगी चारों तरफ में, या heat बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी, and that is being shown by fire. जैसे आप words पढ़ते हो like global warming. Okay. What is the meaning of the word ice says? Nuclear winter याद है आपको ये word? Nuclear winter. As in यदि कभी कोई दो nuclear power countries के बीच में war होता है, then in that particular case, what do you think is going to happen? Nuclear war. Right now, you must be hearing about this particular, scenario of China and India and standoff. Now, none of the country actually wants to fight a war. The question is why? Because both of them are scared? No, both of them are superpowers. But they all know that both of them possess what? Nuclear powers. So if one is going to put a bomb on another and one is also going to put a bomb on another, it's going to be nuclear winter. Nuclear winter means what? Sun is going to disappear because of such a huge loom of cloud. So now let's move from science back into the part of literature. So fire over here means passion and desire, and hatred means once again ice. And ये दोनों feelings भी Robert Frost ने इसमें काफी negative ढंग से लिए हुए हैं to show that these feelings has got the potential to end the world. So let's first of all read the poem, then I'll explain you the poem, and then I'll tell you the literary tools used. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Now let's try and understand line by line what this means. Some say the world will end in fire. So according to the poet, some of the great minds all across the world says that the world is going to end or consumed by fire. In the second line he says, some say in ice. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि ice की वजह से. Now यहाँ पर इन दोनों lines का मतलब क्या है? रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट सेज दैट कुछ लोग के हिसाब से जो वर्ल्ड है वो पूरा का पूरा जो दुनिया है वो फायर से खत्म हो जाएगी. दैट मीन्स पैशन एंड डिजायर से खत्म हो जाएगी. मीन्स पीपल विल जस्ट कीप ऑन डिजायरिंग. एंड यू नो द शॉकिंग थिंग अबाउट दिस डिजायर एंड पैशन इट्स इनफाइनाइट. वो कभी खत्म नहीं होता. लेट्स से सपोज one day I was asking this to my students that what is the starting salary which you want. They said, sir, 50,000 rupees. I said, okay, let's give you ₹1,00,000 of salary per month. I know it's less, but it's okay. They said, sir, what are you saying? It's not less. Trust me, right now they are saying it's more, it's nice, it's good. But believe me, after around 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, they're going to say, sir, ₹1,00,000 में कुछ भी नहीं होता है. We want at least around 5-10 lakh rupees per month. Let's assume that God willing, here from yesterday's story, God willing, भगवान ने आपको बोल भी दिया, तथास्तु बेटा, आपको मिल गई 10 lakh rupees of salary. Believe me, after around 3 and 4 years, you are gonna ask भगवान कम से कम 20-25 लाख तो होना ही चाहिए था per month. This is the kind of desire which is never ever ending, and this is going to consume the world. Why? Because when you are going to exploit resources, when you are going to use things which are not actually meant for you or not intended for you or which is beyond your capacity to hold it, you will start stashing it, and this is going to burn the world. So that's what Robert Frost means to say from the first and the second line, that some say the world will end in fire and some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. इसने बोला कि मैंने जिन लोगों को देखा है जिनकी डिजायर्स कभी खत्म ही नहीं होती, आई एम श्योर कि वो एक दिन इस पूरी की पूरी दुनिया को आग लगा देंगे, बिकॉज उनकी डिजायर्स कभी खत्म ही नहीं होती. एंड सो रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट्स पर्सनल फेवरेट इज दैट द वर्ल्ड इज गोइंग टू एंड बिकॉज ऑफ डिजायर रादर देन ऑफ आइस. लेट्स कंटिन्यू विद द नेक्स्ट लाइन. बट इफ इट हैड टू पेरिश ट्वाइस. रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट ने बोला, मान लो किसी ढंग से यदि उस पूरी की पूरी दुनिया को 2 बार खत्म होना है. इफ इट हैड टू पेरिश, पेरिश मतलब खत्म होना है, ट्वाइस, यदि 2 बार खत्म होना है, देन आई थिंक आई नो इनफ ऑफ हेट. देन इसने बोला दैट आई थिंक कि उसके लिए तो हेट भी काफी है. हेट एज इन व्हाट? व्हेन यू डू नॉट लाइक समथिंग. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट फायर एंड आइस बोथ विल गो हैंड इन हैंड. हाउ? आपने अपने पैशन के वजह से, अपने डिजायर के वजह से बहुत सारी चीजें आपने बनाना चालू कर दिया, आपने स्टोर करना चालू कर दिया, रखना चालू कर दिया. कॉमन सेंस है, जो आपका फ्रेंड या कलीग होगा जिसमें इस चीज की थोड़ी कमी है या जो थोड़ा सा आपसे नीचे है, नाउ ही विल बी कमिंग इन व्हिच कैन? आइस. ही विल स्टार्ट हेटिंग यू. एंड आपने हमेशा सुना होगा दैट पुअर पीपल ऑलवेज एक्चुअली हेट द rich people because they think कि इन लोगों ने सारा का सारा मनी गलत ढंग से ही कमाया है. एंड जो रिच है वो यही सोचता है पुअर के लिए दैट ये लोग तो कभी कुछ काम ही नहीं करते. कैन यू सी द हेट्रेड व्हिच इज कंटिन्यूअसली मूविंग फ्रॉम दिस साइड टू दिस एंड दिस साइड टू दिस? एंड दैट्स ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट? बिकॉज ऑफ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस पैशन, डिजायर एंड द हेट्रेड. नाउ बट इफ हैड टू पेरिश ट्वाइस, आई थिंक आई नो इनफ ऑफ हेट to say that for destruction ice is also great. तो उसने बोला रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट ने that for even destruction even ice is also no less. Ice is also good. That means hatred is also good. If you want to kill somebody, you start hating him continuously, one day or the other that guy is going to suffer. That's what they are saying. So they are saying कि दो, आजकल आप देखोगे 2 कंट्रीज के बीच में हेट्रेड बहुत है, 2 ह्यूमंस के बीच में हेट्रेड बहुत है, आपके खुद के क्लास के अंदर बिटवीन द फर्स्ट एंड द सेकंड एंड द थर्ड रैंकर्स के बीच में हेट्रेड बहुत है. एंड दैट्स द थिंग. एंड वुड सफाइस. एंड ही इज सेइंग ऑफ कोर्स इफ इट हैड टू बी द वर्ल्ड हैड टू बी किल्ड ट्वाइस, कॉमन सेंस. I think these 2 things are more than sufficient to kill the entire world. You don't need practically arms and armaments and bombs and all those missiles technology. You just need these 2 things and these are good enough to kill your entire world. So this is the meaning of the second poem. So both of these poems start on a pretty negative note and this of course ends on a negative note, but this poem starts on a negative note but ends on a very positive note, right? So understand. And that's what I always say to all of my students and all of you guys also. I would suggest or request you that guys, whenever you are going out somewhere, please keep a smile. Please keep a smile. Why? Because when you smile, believe me guys, there are n number of people who will just think, why is this guy smiling so much? And they'll get attracted towards you. And when I'm saying attracted, don't get that wrong वाला thing that okay सर यदि हम smile करेंगे तो girls बहुत सारी आ जाएंगी, या यदि girls सोचेंगी अब हम boys बहुत सारे आ जाएंगे, वो भी आ जाएंगे. But the point is that when you smile, you can make somebody else's day. And with a smile, you can actually kill, you know, there's this particular part, hatred too. Got it? So Robert Frost through these poems is only saying that limit this ice and this fire. Limit this. Thoda control mein rakho, otherwise it's going to consume the entire world. Now besides summary, let's talk about the literature tools being used over here. Now once again, can you see this? Some say and some say, so that is alliteration. Right? Alliteration. Also guys, in the starting itself, I've used the word personified. So that means personification. But what do you mean by the word personification, sir? Personification means whenever you are trying to use an non-living thing and you are to compare that particular thing with a feeling of human. So जैसे यहाँ पर fire को एक जिंदा आदमी की फीलिंग से कंपेयर किया हुआ है, एंड ऑन द सेम वे आइस को जो कि नॉन लिविंग होता है उसको हेट्रेड से कंपेयर किया हुआ है. सो दैट इज नोन एज पर्सोनिफिकेशन. सो पर्सोनिफिकेशन में यू टेक नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स एंड यू स्टार्ट कंपेयरिंग देम विद द लिविंग डिजायर्स और द लिविंग फीलिंग्स और द फीलिंग्स ऑफ द लिविंग बीइंग्स. सो दिस इज गाइस, एंड गाइस व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्ड दैट इज एंजाममेंट? ऑफ कोर्स गाइस, तो यहाँ पर enjambment is also going to be over there. Why? Because this is in continuation. There is no break. If you can see, there are not much of the commas or the full stops being used. So right in the first stanza and then comes in the second. So that's the reason why I've used the word enjambment. Okay. So guys, thank you so much. And guys, I just simply was overwhelmed by the comments which you wrote yesterday. Thank you guys. If you're thinking that what it actually does, it actually makes my day. So I'm not saying that, do comment on each and every section, but guys, even if you like it, even if when you write something, even good, bad or ugly, it gives the other person, a feeling that, okay, somebody is, watching my video. And that's actually a great motivation to carry my own self through these particular ridiculous times. Okay. So thank you guys so much once again. Please guys do comment as in what exactly was your feedback on this particular video. And guys, keep smiling and love your elders and love your parents, guys. Thank you. Chill. See ya. Bye.